What's up everyone, Jason Brown here, the king of programming. I am taking you through a power session. We're gonna start right now. All right guys, come on over to the whiteboard. We are doing something a little bit different today. Now, on my whiteboard program where we went through a full body split and we went through 3 separate days with all with a specific intent, we had that 3rd day that focused more on power development. This is a form of that within a very similar structure of programming. However, if you guys remember on my Train With Me series, I was working in some sprinting, and I've been working in sprinting into my own personal programming for the last 4 to 5 months, going from hill sprints, sled sprints, to flat ground sprints. And we are now on flat ground sprints, but I'm doing it a little bit different today. What I am doing is a flat ground sprint for about 10 yards with a 40 start. So if you're familiar with a 40-yard dash and the start, if you're not familiar with it, you can look it up. There's probably tons of videos on it, but I'm using basically that start position to do all of my sprints. Now I'm doing 8 sets, so I'm progressing over the course of 8 sets. I am gonna show you the last 2, maybe 3 sets of that as I'm already warmed up. I've already gone through 6 of the 8 sets, and we're gonna do the final sets for you on camera today. So the first thing is a sprint. I'm gonna rest about 45 to 60 seconds, and I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna hit a hang power clean with about 60% of my warm-up max for 2 reps, and then I'm gonna rest 45 to 60 seconds again, and then I'm gonna hit my Pylo push-up for 3 reps, which again, you'll see. Now, I wanna really preface this by saying that the sprint intensity, having that progression going from hill sprints to sled push sprints to flat ground sprints is something that I do as far as being able to ease myself into it and make sure that I am progressing in a logical fashion, which I will tell you I've made a mistake not doing in the past. The other thing is, some of you are probably on my training subscription thinking, why aren't we doing sprinting on our training? Sprinting is very tough to program for the masses. I don't know you, I don't know your limitations, I don't know if you're able to do things like hill sprints and progress over time. So there's a lot that goes into this, a lot of individualization, and this is what has worked for me. I'm not telling you that this will work for you, but it is something that has worked for me. This is how I do it. I'm giving you guys some information about how that works and the intent of this. Now, this is something that allows me to break up my training and focus more on power development as opposed to just lifting heavy, which I've talked a lot about in the past and gone over things like the force velocity curve. But one thing that we need to know is that having some diversity in your training allows us to stay athletic. It allows us to tap into type 2 muscle fibers and allow us, again, really the neuromuscular function of it is being able to recruit high threshold motor units. And this is something that we can do very well here. Now, stick around to the end of this video. This is not the only training for today. There's more training that we're gonna use to culminate the session, more accessory-based work that we will do at the end of the session that I will go over with you and kind of explain to you how that fits in. If you are someone that is serious about training and you're looking for peak results year-round without having to sacrifice your body, download my free programming sample. The link is in the comments. All right, guys, great first part of the session. I'm already pretty winded and pretty smoked, but I'm gonna culminate things today with 3 things. So another giant set. In this case, we're going with a glute drive, which the alternative to that would be just doing glute hip thrust with a barbell. 12 to 15 reps. We're gonna go into an alternating dumbbell floor press. So you notice, I like a lot of anterior, posterior, so I'll do something like a glute drive or a glute hip thrust, and I'll work in a pressing pattern, and then we're gonna culminate that giant set with a side plank variation on the 45-degree back raise, which you'll see. Now, 12 to 15, 8 to 10 seconds on each side, and I'm gonna rest about 30 to 45 seconds between exercises and go through that for 3 rounds. So that is it today. This is a full session where we really focused on power development. We're culminating with a hinge, a press, as well as some side plank variation to really work on anti-lateral flexion. And Again, a great way to do it. If you haven't seen my last video on the whiteboard programming review where I went through a full week, check that out. There's a lot of good information there. It'll probably make some of this make sense, but in that particular video, we went through using supersets, pairings, and in this case, we're using giant sets. So there's a lot of ways to skin the cat, and this is just one, and I've got a lot more of this stuff coming for you guys in the near future. And remember, till next time, results are king.